We are live. Good
Hey,
morning.
good morning. Dad's with coffee.
How's everyone today?
We're back again.
Yeah? Hey, I did not wear a purple shirt, nor did I wear a camouflage hat.
What is wrong with you?
Noted.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I haven't worn this hat in quite a while.
Just because baseball season's over doesn't mean...
Well, I haven't worn this hat in some time. We had a little freshman sports gathering at the stadium the other night. So it's kind of nice to, Evan, I can't call you. I can't answer you right now.
Number 4, son, calling in.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to be on the show. Maybe he's calling
I
in.
should have let him be on.
Put him on speakerphone next time and say, hey, you're live.
You're live on Dad's with Coffee. Go ahead. This is Keith.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, guess what I'm going to do today?
I have no idea what you're going to do.
Something I haven't done in weeks.
Workout?
That's a call out. That's a call out. That's not even. Yes, I'm going to work out in my yard. I got to mow my grass. Finally today, I'm going to get to mow my grass.
That's my job tomorrow morning.
Oh, you better hope it don't rain today. I don't know. I haven't looked at the weather, man.
Well, I'm tied up late this afternoon. We've got to look at a couple of houses because if you don't know, my owner is selling his house. We're not in a position to buy a house, so now we're having to look for other options. So, and we've got lots of options we're looking for and choosing from. So, but you just got to find the right one. We're trying to negotiate with our owner to see if
it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Maybe we could just deal with him and just give us one more year. So I haven't thrown the whole emotional push at him yet. So.
Hey, it's my daughter's senior
year. Yeah,
and
exactly.
We really don't want her to have to move schools. And
well, I can't lie because
I know she wouldn't have to. She doesn't have to move
anyway. Schools, but just would rather not this year.
Sorry,
but it's the life of the renter. You don't own it, so you're at the mercy of a market that is stupid high right now.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. My nephew texted me yesterday. He lives in Missouri. And he texted me yesterday. We were just home in Missouri for my niece's wedding. Well, oh my goodness. She just graduated high school. It wasn't a wedding. Nathan Lee, I'm sorry.
Drink
it wasn't
a wedding. Graduation, not wedding.
Both major milestones, however, one much more significant than the other. So we were just in Missouri, and I got to see my other niece, other side of the house for the first time. And so my nephew texted me yesterday. He's like, hey, next time you come up, you have a new house to look at. The housing market in Missouri is just as bad, if not worse, than Texas.
Really?
They're not building up there the way we're building down here. Like you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a new house around this place.
Right.
I don't know, man. The chief used to say that. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting XYZ.
That really begs a question.
Why are you swinging dead cats?
Why are you swinging dead cats?
I don't know,
man?
But if you were to swing a dead cat,
okay, then
you wouldn't be able to swing it
without. Okay.
I don't know. Ask Steve Milner. He had some very.
The generation older than us came up with some very intriguing sayings.
Yeah. I don't. My
There's
brother.
stuff I can't use anymore. I'm not saying it's vulgar. I'll share one that you can't.
Only for this discussion.
You can't use it anymore. When I was growing up, my dad, we would be drinking a Coke or something. Anytime a bottle or a disposable item, we would empty it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember it was him. Where else would I have heard this when I was a kid?
Right.
Another dead soldier.
Oh.
You can't say that anymore.
You can too, because
you cannot say that today.
You can in the Chiefs mess.
Do they
say it all the time?
Do they?
Yes.
I mean, because to me, in this day and age, that would be viewed as highly disrespecting.
And let me let you in on
human
some
life.
Secrets. Let me let you in on some secrets of the military.
I mean, okay.
We don't care.
You don't care the same way.
No.
Because to me, it goes back to the Vietnam era where they started putting up all the numbers on the TV.
Well, and here's why they
all
did
the dead soldiers.
Here's why they did it. It was a lot of military guys that that came up with these sayings, right? And
Right.
so they would have a drink for their friend.
Is that how it got
That's
started?
how it all
Empty
started.
a glass, another dead soldier.
There's one for my buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not how it was used in my house, and
Well,
I
probably
always felt a
not.
little uncomfortable.
Probably not.
with
We always flip it a little bit, but you know, again, you have to do. You cannot offend most military people easily.
Sure, you can.
Well, you can by degrading their country.
Right.
You can by degrading their flag. You can by degrading
Their mama
their buddies.
and
Right?
their mama.
They can talk all the trash they want about their best friends, but if
Oh,
you
no,
start
no.
talking about their best friends,
Well, isn't
you-
that how it is? It wasn't how it was for you growing up. You brothers and sisters.
Oh, yeah,
You guys could
yeah.
trash each other all day, but if some outsider come in and say something, it'd be like, "Oh, whoa, wait, what?
fixing to wear you out. Where are you at?
No, you can't say that. Well, you just said that. Yeah, but you can't.
You know, we hated each other in
whatever.
aviation, right?
Yeah.
So it was always the electricians versus the mechs, or the electricians versus the airframers. And you know, I wrote some songs about some people. I wrote a little song about it. You want to hear it? Here it goes. I'm a stupid, greasy, dirty mech. That's all I wrote.
Oh,
I wrote it for
my
my buddy Jiffy Wallace.
Oh my gosh.
But that was, you know, I could call Jiffy a stupid, greasy, dirty mech, and he'd call me a one-wire spark chaser, right?
Right.
And that was okay. Because
Amongst yourselves.
Yes, we
but
were there.
other people from the outside won't understand
Yeah,
that.
they don't get
You know,
it.
we were at Chick-fil-A on Monday. It's our typical Monday meal.
Minister's Monday.
That's right. I get half price. You know, why not?
Sure.
You know, so we were eating in because the dining room, praise
Finally
Jesus,
open.
finally open. I can eat Jesus chicken in the place it was designed to be eaten. But I don't care what McDonald's is making. Chick-fil-A is still better.
And if you're offended by Jesus chicken, it's okay. You'll get over it.
Yeah. So we were eating in, and you know, I went up to place a second order to go for my kids who had not made it to dinner.
Okay.
You know, Dulcie and I were eating early because they were working and whatever. So, and I go up and I hear banter back and forth. You know, hey, shut up and give me the fries. Hey, shut up and do this.
Right.
If you don't like it, shut up and move on. You know, and they were just like back and forth with each other. And I having supervised a Chick-fil-A and restaurants and supervised youth and I know, and having two youth in my house, I know how they talk to one another. I mean, because their mother gets very frustrated over how they talk to each other. You should respect each other more. Well, Mom, what? I don't.
It's just the way we love each other.
Yeah, and so anyway, and I get it, right? But so I go over to yeah.
Thanks, Eric.
What's he saying?
Breaking news. Keith's song is going viral.
So I see the manager. He's taking his dinner break, and I go over and said, "Hey, I try to start with, I've supervised a Chick-fil-A because I want them to understand I'm not just
Right. Some
just
rando.
some rando." And I said, and I don't want to. I'm not being critical. What I want you to understand is I heard the banter at the line, and I said I get it. Because I have teenagers, this is how they talk to each other. But your regular Joe customer coming in isn't going to understand the insider language and talk that they're having with one another, and they're not going to understand the tone. They're
Right.
going to view this as an environment they don't want to be a part of. And I said, I don't think that's what you want. And I said, I really don't think that's what they
That's
want
not.
either.
It's not.
And we talked, and he said, we went 12 months with drive-through only.
Yes.
And they are not used to having people
inside, yeah.
inside. He said, and so they've gotten too comfortable in that. And I said, I totally get that. I said, I just thought because
And he probably didn't recognize it.
no,
Because
right,
look, we're just sending out chicken nuggets.
right. And he wasn't like egregiously naive about it.
Right.
It was just, you know what, I understand that. I get that. He goes, I said, you just might want to have that re-conversation with them. Say, hey, we've got people in the house again.
People in the house now. People in the house again.
You know, and that's just, you know, being aware of how other people will view it it's something that a lot of people hate because I want to live my life the way I want to live my life. I got my rights, and blah blah blah.
You do.
But I think that we as Christians and we as parents raising kids have to find this middle ground between I understand that's just how you speak to one another, but other people may not get that, and they may not understand that. I mean, one that may be more sensitive to some folks. These younger generations, so just hang with me. These younger generations, which I always younger than us,
Right.
Millennials,
which
Gen
is,
Zers,
that group is getting larger every day.
yeah, every day. The ones younger than us, they use language that is very colorful. You put it that way.
I hear what you're saying.
And to other generations, that is super offensive in the way that they use that language. But and speaking to this in just a second, you hang with them much more than I hang with them.
Yeah.
But what I feel is they just don't view it in the same vulgar way.
Right. It's just another word.
It's just another word. And this came out in an interview with Megan Thee Stallion. If you read the interview
I have.
about WAP, and that's all I'll say about that. The song that she put out, and the religious right was all up on that. And hey, I don't like the song.
I don't either.
I don't like the song. And I don't agree with the claim she's making, but I think it speaks into where we are. Because the claim she's making is, I don't hear that the way you're hearing that. Because I grew up in an environment and a context and a culture where that language that is a very offensive to you, it was just everyday language for us. That's just descriptive language that has nothing to do. Now, I think it's over-sexualized. Obviously, if you if you research the song, grossly over-sexualized.
If you do look it up, just know that it's
horrible.
It's gross, nasty, it's vulgar.
Yeah.
But again, that's us.
Yeah, and everybody older than us,
and everyone older than us,
and
most people 35 and over.
Yeah, I think most people that are not in the hip hop rap culture will view that in a difficult way, and so that just so I mean, what are your thoughts on how they just don't view it the same way?
I'll give you the military take on it. right? You've heard the phrase "cussing like a sailor." They didn't just make that up.
Oh no, they didn't just.
And so whenever I'm around, I'm at the football stadium all the time, at the baseball field all the time. I'm at track meets. I'm at volleyball games. I'm at all these sporting events.
Right.
And coaches, when they're around me, generally will be careful what they say. But sometimes in the heat of passion or in the emotion, a word or two or a phrase
or a string of things,
however many it takes, will slip out. And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Pastor." I was like, "Bro, I was in the Navy for 22 years.
You're not going to offend me.
I could teach you how to use that word differently."
Right.
Yeah. So I don't want to say I've become numb to it. Like if I hear my kids say it,
that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. And I'm not naive enough to think that they're not saying it. Right?
Sure. They're on the football field. They're on the.
I'm just saying. I'm not. Yeah. I was also 16 to 25 once.
Sure.
I used to cuss like a sailor. I had
you
plenty
were a
of,
sailor. So
I had plenty of vices. And then I just decided, I'm going to quit this.
Yeah.
I'm just, what good am I doing with this language?
Right.
So maybe if I don't cuss, I'll be different.
Sure.
Because I am different.
Right.
On the inside.
Exactly. So reflected on the outside.
So reflected on the outside. It's an adult lesson that I learned. It wasn't a lesson I learned as a teenager.
We don't learn many things.
It's probably after I was 25 years old when I had that fully developed brain and my car insurance went down. Right?
Funny how those two things supposedly coincide.
Well,
Anyway, I digress.
There are certain cultures and circles, like I don't hear it a lot on the baseball field. but you don't not hear it a lot on the football field.
I don't hear a lot on the golf courses.
You don't hear it a lot on golf courses. You don't hear
I'm
a lot
hearing
in,
it more now than I used to.
You don't hear a lot in tennis. You don't hear a lot in.
Well, you did when McEnroe played.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But anyway.
But when they're in,
Yeah.
you rely on each other so much more in football. And so you develop that bond, you develop that cohesiveness that's different than 9 guys playing 9 positions,
Right.
all spread out on the baseball field. Yes, you're still working together, one team, one goal. But on the offensive line, you're 5 guys working to keep that quarterback's jersey clean.
Yeah.
And you're going to call each other out, and you're going to
Sure.
use some colorful terms
Right.
on occasion.
And so, all right, so here's the hard conversation that most people may not want to agree with or even entertain. So what do we do with this in the shifting culture we have, okay? When words that are egregious to some have been normalized and in some ways immunized, and they've been so used that it doesn't. I don't know that it means what it used to mean.
It doesn't mean what it used to mean to the user,
right?
but to the hearer
No.
or some hearers,
To some hearers,
it still means what
Right.
it means.
And I'm not saying that we should not teach our kids, a proper way to
Right.
speak. I just wonder, where's the line of morality? Where's the line of ethics? Where's the line?
I don't know that language is a moral thing.
And that's what I'm getting to. Because I think that there are some that believe it is. That language can become a moral issue on which to fight. What would be termed as vulgar language.
Right.
That I think many of our teenagers would
going.
not.
Keep going.
That I think a number of our teenagers don't even see it that way, and so. Okay,
So what do we do?
Yeah, that's my.
We give them an alternative word, right?
Sure.
Is that any better? Because
Well,
the sentiment is the same.
Christian cussing.
Right. It's all at the heart of the matter, right?
Dang
You
it.
know what you want to say.
So how is "dang it" better than the other one? Which I won't say because of our audience.
No, I said that in the middle of my home economics class. I was serging a sweatshirt, and my line got off, or I cut something, and I used it biblically. I said, "Damn it, straight to hell." 'Cause that's what it is.
You're just quoting scripture.
It's
there.
condemnation. The word. I mean, it's
Right.
literally
Right.
condemnation.
Of course, that's not how that was heard.
Well, no, it was Miss Tannen. She was really cool about it. She what's the matter, Keith?
Yeah.
She comes over and pats me on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Can I help you?
It'll
fix
be
it?"
okay.
No, I just messed up my sweatshirt. Now I can't wear it. This is cool, sleeveless, hooded sweatshirt. Still wore it. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I was the vice president of home economics, Lynn High School chapter in 1991.
I did not know that about you.
Yeah. So
That is awesome.
there's that.
There's that.
Made the finest hot dog pizza you've ever eaten.
Oh my gosh. So,
So I don't.
where's the line on that? Because I think that
Well, we've gotten so much. We're afraid to use the word ass as a donkey
right.
because it's been
King James,
turned.
though.
Right. I was watching. So there's this.
I'm just quoting King James.
There's this. His name's Cool Carl. He does Sunday school teas.
Cool Carl.
They were doing youth group
Right.
names, and he was like, I don't even know what it was, but it was an acronym. He was like, it's in the Bible, King James, bro.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know. I just think that
I won't use the language.
no, and I don't either.
Um,
Usually. No, I'm just
But-
kidding.
only when the lawnmower won't start. Not really.
No, right. Or when it runs over my foot.
I don't use the language,
No.
but I'm not going to condemn someone because they do, and I'm not going to expect someone that is used to using that language to immediately stop using that language,
Right.
just because I walk up. Because you can
Right.
ask a kid now, would you use that language around your grandmother? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we
'Cause
talk
she
at home.
does.
That's how we talk at home.
Right.
And it's different for me and you.
Yes.
But in the culture that we live,
Right.
it's not different.
And I think that's a part of the new Christian experience that we're having to face, which I think is a part of why church is becoming more and more irrelevant, is because we want to hold to a standard that nobody understands anymore, but we're not taking the time to explain it.
Right, our expectations are high, and
I'm not saying we shouldn't have high expectations, but
No.
you got to meet people where they are and love them along their way. Like you said, just because, let's just say, somebody decides to come to church, or maybe you got a kid that goes to camp, makes a decision for Jesus. It's legit, makes a decision for Jesus. That language isn't going to shape up.
no, it's not going to
overnight.
change overnight.
In fact, it might take 2, 3, 4 years.
You can't talk like that. You're a Christian. I'm sorry. It just happens.
Right. And should we even where do we start? This is discipleship and mentoring. Where do we start on that? I mean, well, you shouldn't talk like that. You're a Christian. Okay. Is that where we start? Or do we let them breathe a little bit in this new life? And am I supposed to be the guilt trip on them? Or is the Holy Spirit?
Or do we allow
supposed
the
to
Holy
be-
Spirit to work?
Or the Holy Spirit supposed to? Well, but if we never trained, okay, I get that, but when we usurp the position of Holy Spirit, we run into trouble.
Right. I 100% agree with you.
And that's why I think in the established church versus a new plant church struggle more in community relations.
Right.
Because
We don't understand. Well, I won't say we don't understand the culture. I won't say that. But we don't have as firm a grasp on it.
no, I mean, even as a parent,
Yeah. It's different.
I'm an older parent. Being 50 and having one still in high school is not what my peer group has done.
Right.
And so most of the parents of my daughter's friends are 5 to 10 years younger than us. And I don't have as firm a grasp on that as I would like,
Right.
and I try to understand. But just like I did to my parents and you did to your parents, my kids do to us, and your kids may do to you. They eyes start to roll a little bit. It's like, I just wish why can't you just understand? I say, I don't understand.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I love you, but I don't get it.
Help me understand.
Yeah, and that's where I go. Help me to understand.
And that's what I do with kids when I'm like, I'll say, why do you use that word?
Yeah. And I know we're focusing on language, but that can expand to a lot of other things. I mean, the sexual involvement today is not like it once was.
No, that's what I thought you were going to go the other direction. I thought you were going to say it's exploding. But
no,
kids are not having sex in the way kids in the 70s had sex.
Right.
Or the 80s had sex even. Or our generation.
Okay, unpack that. What do you
the
mean
ladies,
by that? I know
late
what
80s,
I think
early
you mean
90s.
by that.
There was promiscuity was much greater in our high school years than they are in current high school years. Now they may be more flirty, they may be more showy and flashy, but they're not taking action.
Okay. Because that's not what we hear.
No, it's not what we hear. They say teen pregnancy's on the rise. That's because there's more teenagers. There are more teenagers today than there
Show
were.
me percentage, not numbers.
Right. You can't make decisions based on raw numbers, because raw numbers will lie to you.
We got 1,000 more pregnancies this year than last year. Okay, but we have 1 million more teenagers this year than last year. So do the percentages.
Yes.
And it actually drops.
It dropped. The percentage dropped.
And I think the sexualizing, going back to Megan Thee Stallions, the sexualizing of that would seem to present a much different picture of what is normal in our society. The hookup culture, you're telling me, is not what it once was?
Not from what I view, no. From having teenagers in my house, teenagers around me all the time.
Not saying it didn't happen, just
Parents have kids on a much tighter leash than you and I were on.
oh yeah,
You know, I could pick up my phone at any time and know where my kids are.
right. Unless they turn off their location, which then there's a conversation.
Then why did you turn off your location?
Right. Well, my battery was dying.
No, it wasn't.
Well, my battery was going to die.
I could see your battery. What's your battery at right now? Why do you think I bought you that external charger? We make these concessions.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see, Robert says, when I was a child, yeah, Robert, I mean, it's just how you grew up, right? And you're a little bit older than we are. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
When Robert was a child, he used coarse language from the age of 2. It was just how it was in his home environment, how
Right.
he was brought up. And it's no different today than it was in
Whenever.
whatever Robert was, 1975. My whole family smoked.
Right.
That's all I knew is your parents smoked, I'm going to smoke.
Right.
Right? And I did. I smoked. I quit, thankfully. But my parents weren't drinkers. So I wasn't a heavy drinker.
Right.
And you do things based on how you're raised and what your culture is, and
Right.
and that's just the way it is.
Right.
And today's culture is a lot different than the culture that we grew up in. It may seem a lot more vulgar, it may seem a lot less respectful, but I can promise you there's plenty of respect that these kids have. They understand what's right and wrong. And not even just kids,
Well,
young adults. I mean, up to 30, they just have a different worldview of
Yes.
what we have. Not to say that they have a different spiritual view.
because they do.
They just don't. I don't think that they believe that God cares too much about how you speak.
Right. Well,
He cares more about what you feel in your heart than what comes out of your mouth.
and this goes to the understanding, as I have seen it progress, the generations younger than us, they're just more honest and out there.
Mm-hmm.
Social media has transformed that. They're just going to say what they're going to say. And I'm not talking about vulgar language. I'm talking
Right.
about they're just,
Their opinion is going to be their opinion, and
yeah, and they're not ashamed to say it.
right.
And we grew up in a time where, kids are
Shut up
supposed
and color.
yeah, kids are supposed to be in a corner, and don't talk with the adults. And this generation has now. Hey, you've got teenagers in your house, and so do I. We've raised them to be free thinkers. We've raised them to be dialogue heavy, not monologue. We've raised them to be able to have adult conversations.
Yes.
And that sometimes bites back
Right.
periodically.
That's where I'm at, because we want them to have these adult conversations, but when they have these adult conversations, we want to bash them for having these adult conversations.
that we've raised them to have.
Right.
And we can't do that.
No,
the
we
church
can't do
and the church can't do that.
Yeah.
We have to find that space. And this is where I think loads of grace needs to come in.
Mm-hmm.
We have to
But
find
not to the point of, look,
not allowance. That's not what I'm saying. Go ahead.
we still have to have our church standards.
Yes, that's where I was going.
Okay.
No, what I'm saying is we have our standards. And I'm not saying that we lessen our standards. Here's the standard, okay? But here is Bobby. I don't mean to be. That's just the name that came to mind. But that's my generic male. It's
Okay.
Bobby. It's Johnny. It's whatever.
Yeah, whoever.
Maybe it's Hunter these days. But here he is, but he's not yet here.
Right.
And so our job is to lay grace between where he is and where we want him to be, and to love him there.
Through that.
But just to say, until you get here, I don't want anything to do with you,
Right.
is wrong. Or to prejudge, which is the full definition of prejudice,
Yes.
to prejudge that individual and say, oh, they're hopeless. Oh, they're never going to be. Oh, look. Oh, they say they made a decision for Jesus, but boy, their life. Well, have you gone and mentored them?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, I think that's what we miss a lot is me coming to you or me coming to a younger person and saying, look, I know that
I've been there.
that's the way things used to be.
Right.
Bobby, I grew up in that.
Well, I think
but things are different now.
That's where the honesty, I think, has gone away from the church, and the authenticity has left the church, is because we, by and large, have forgotten what it was to be without Jesus.
Right.
And we have forgotten what it was, coupled with a huge moral fabric shift from our perspective, a huge moral fabric shift and an influx through internet and media, an influx of varieties of religious positions. America's not the America it once was. And so because you have thousands of religions, thousands of beliefs, everybody's opinion is of equal value to everybody that's out there on social media, then we have two generations of people that have been raised up in a cafeteria style situation. And we're over here eating our dinner at the table meals.
Right.
And not understanding everything that that's just all wrong. And so we wash it all down the drain as all being wrong, unsalvageable. And
because this is how we do it.
Yes. And we don't give enough space and grace to say there's room, not that what they say, think, or do is right, but that's where they are, and my job is not to fix them. That's the Spirit's job.
Or to even accept it.
Yeah, don't condone it, but don't condemn it either.
Right.
Find
the middle ground.
Find the middle ground.
How can we work through this?
There was a game we'd play on the playground. You remember seesaws?
Yeah.
Teeter-totters,
yes.
seesaws. And we would, when one person goes down, the other person goes up, and the other, but when you both want to get on, you have to find a way for that thing to level out. Otherwise, you're going to hurt somebody.
Right.
Or
to get off of it.
I saw a kid walk up, want to get on, and this other kid was teasing. And as they walked up, they slammed it down, and it hit them in their chin. And we had a whole big mess on our hands. So you have to find between condoning and condemning. You can't. You've got to find the balance so we both can get on, and then we can enjoy the ride together.
Right. Easy day, right? Hey, good dialogue today. Thanks for your comments and your feedback. Robert, I like what you said. It's still cussing when you substitute a word in place of a cuss word. The intent to cuss is still there, and that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
it's a matter of the heart. It's not about the words that you used. If
it's still the intent.
Still the intent. Yeah, you bang your thumb with your hammer, and
and the prophets would say this. God through the prophets told the people of Israel. Well, one, he told them you have to do all these sacrifices. But then the intent of their heart was bad, and so now he says, "I hate your sacrifices."
Cain and Abel. It started with. I just talked over this last night. I don't know how these conversations always lead back to what I just taught over last night. Cain and Abel. Cain was being lazy. Yeah. He didn't want to give his best.
No, or greedy,
or both. Right? Abel gave his best, and that made Cain mad.
Yeah. Yes.
He didn't intend to kill his brother starting out.
Okay.
When he presented a sacrifice, I don't believe
right. Not at that time.
I don't believe that Cain intended to kill his brother. He got mad at his brother because God gave him favor, showed him favor. And he's like,
but God gave him that second chance.
Yeah,
why are you so mad, bro?
Yeah.
Just give me what I asked for, and it'll be fine. And then Cain's pride came in and was like, well, what I give you should be good enough. It's like, whoa, don't forget who you're talking to.
I call that the perpetuation of sin, not the propitiation of sin, but the perpetuation of sin.
Yeah.
It started out.
You didn't stop it, so here we go.
Yeah, and so it snowballs. And
That's
builds.
where self-control,
Hey,
proof of life,
proof of life.
proof of life this Sunday ends with self-control. You've got to have that. Otherwise, you end up killing your brother.
Whether even
Possibly
metaphorically,
unintentionally.
yeah, sometimes metaphorically,
Well, and sometimes literally.
sometimes literally.
We've had a lot of protesting over stupid stuff that's happened because we can't exercise self-control over ourselves in our culture. And social injustices are wrong. That's a whole nother topic for
A whole
another
nother
day.
topic. Hey, just one quick last PSA. Memorial Day weekend is this weekend.
Yes.
It's not about veterans. It's not about your active duty service members.
It's about those that have already passed.
Paid the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our nation.
Yep.
So while we as veterans appreciate your support and your love, and active
Yes.
duty members appreciate your love and support,
That's Veterans
we
Day.
want to remember those that didn't come home, our brothers
Yep.
in arms that didn't come home, that didn't make it, that lost their fight in our fight. So
As you go to your churches, whether it's ours or wherever it is that you're going, because we have a lot of people who listen, if your worship leadership does not recognize current duty service or active service in the service this coming Sunday, they are not disrespecting the servicemen, because Memorial Day is not about the current or the living. It's about those that have deceased. And so they may have a moment of silence instead of, hey, let's have all of our veterans stand up, because that's not Memorial Day. Memorial Day is for those that have died.
So
Yep.
just
Yep.
a simple PSA.
Yep.
I've had friends in the service who I've had to go to their funerals, and
Yeah. No fun.
it's not. Yeah. All right.
Yep. All right. Hey,
Love
we'll
you
see
guys.
you guys.
Okay. Good. There's this guy in Oklahoma.